Hey guys, Mr. Moscato with you. All right, so at the end of class today, we were taking a look at this problem, right? So number 22, a times x plus z equals a times w minus y, and we were solving for the variable a. All right, so what I'd like to do is I'd like to go through this problem from start to finish. All right, so you guys can see how to solve something like this, okay? Um, So where do we start? Okay, well, we want to try to get the variable a. Since we're solving for a, we want to try to get the variable a over on the same side. All right, so to do that, right, let's get the AW over to where the AX is. We could go the other way, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so real simple, right? We're going to subtract AW from that side. And we're going to subtract AW from over here. And while we're here, we could also go ahead and shortcut this, right? We need to get the z over to the right. All right, so if my a's are going to be over on my left, let's get my z's over to my right. All right, so we can subtract z from here, and obviously we have to subtract z from over here as well. All right, so when all is said and done, we end up with a times x minus a times w, all right, equals negative y minus z. Okay? So all we did was we got the AW over to the left, we got the Z over to the right. All right, so it really hasn't, nothing has changed from what we've done in the past. Okay? Now, the trick now is to take a look at this piece of equation, all right, this expression over on the left. All right, we're trying to isolate the A. All right, so the trick now is, we've spent a lot of time talking about the distributive property. And what the distributive property does, right, is when I have a value outside of parentheses, so let's say that I have something like 4 times x plus y, okay, how do I use the distributive property? Well, the 4 gets applied to the x, and the 4 gets applied to the y. So what that gives me is 4x plus 4y, okay? Now, right, basically what we are doing in this step, all right, to solve for this expression is we are going to do the reverse of the distributive property, right? So instead of distributing, we're going to be undistributing, which is called factoring. Okay, so what is common to both the AX and the AW? Well, I can factor out an A. Okay, so if I divide AX by A and I divide a negative AW by A, right, I end up with the expression A times X minus W. Okay, so you can see that if I was to use the distributive property, all right, and I would distribute the A to the X and the A to the W, I would end up with AX minus AW. So if I can distribute, right, to put a value into the parentheses or distribute it through the parentheses, then I should be able to do the complete opposite operation, right, which is called factoring. So all I did here was I factored an A out of the AX and the AW. So I end up with A times the quantity of X minus W, okay? And then that equals a negative Y minus Z. Okay, now from there, we're solving for A. So what are we doing? It's A times the quantity of X minus W, all right? So we can divide by the X minus W, right? So if I divide by X minus W here, then I need to divide by X minus W over here, okay? Well, X minus W on the left divided by X minus W over on the left, all right, is just a 1. So I end up with A, and then over on the right-hand side, I don't really need to, I don't really need to do anything other than just rewrite what I have. Negative Y minus Z over x minus w. Okay, so that's it. Okay, that's our answer. Okay, so basically when we have this situation, we use factoring, all right, to remove, factoring, right, to remove the variable or variables that are in the way. All right, so I hope this little example helps. All right, in the homework for tonight, you're going to see a couple more of these kinds of problems. All right, keep this little lecture in mind, all right, this example in mind, and you should be good to go for everything else. All right, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning.